Hello everyone and welcome to our monthly webinar. Today we're finalizing our security series. Our subject is staying ahead of cyber threats with Microsoft Sentinel. I'm Andreas Abi Khalil, partner and program manager at Ampu Solution and your moderator for today. Before I hand you to today's presenters, I would like to mention our rules of engagement. This webinar is recorded and will be available on demand. Please reach out to your contact on the team to gain access to it. For questions, leverage the Q&A feature in your top toolbar. We will dedicate time at the end of this webinar to answer them. Our featured speakers for today are Joseph Calaf, the president of MP Solution, and our Microsoft MVP, Eli Karkafi. Team, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andreas. I will go ahead and kick this off. Let me share my screen for my slide deck here. So today we're going to be talking about staying ahead of cyber threats with Sentinel. The focus is going to be Sentinel. I'm going to run through a few slides here to talk about some data points that are going to be extremely interesting for everybody to understand and think through. And then I'm going to hand it over to Eli, our Microsoft MVP, to dive into some of the features of Sentinel and how you can leverage it in your organization. So let's start with a couple of things. For people that are defending their infrastructure, their technology landscape today, the odds are stacked against you. You are at a disadvantage. You are always going to be in a state of disarray because of the amount of attacks that are coming. Some numbers here that are interesting: 4,000 passwords attacks happen per second. The median time for an attacker to access your private data is 72 minutes if they are allowed in. If they're able to penetrate whatever data object or data infrastructure that they're trying to get to, it's 72 minutes before they are just roaming around. And it takes 85 days on average to mitigate a data breach. 85 days, that's over almost 3 months to be able to fully mitigate a data breach. So you are pretty much sitting out there exposed one way or another for 85 days after an incident. There are, according to data, there are 3.5 million globally unfulfilled security jobs for security workers out there to be defending. There's 3.5 million foot soldiers, if you will, that are required to be able to address this this security issue that we have, and those roles are unfulfilled. We are short that many. And why is this growing at a significant pace? Why is this such a thing today? The reason for it is because the amount of data we collect, the amount of different endpoints and different methods that we get data and where we are exposed to be attacked and penetrated. I mean, look at this. You got vehicles send data. Attackers could go after vehicles, equipment, manufacturers, they have endpoints and IoT devices, supply chains, smart cities are collecting data. There's the good old traditional on-premises still. A firewall isn't bulletproof, right? And then there's cloud, there's mobile devices, there are devices everywhere that are prime objects and prime items to be attacked and allow a malicious actor to come in and grab your data and penetrate your network or your infrastructure. What are the traditional challenges today, right? You have a lot of noise. And this is where I will let Eli cover this in a little bit here, but and we're all guilty of it, right? We're all guilty of sometimes looking at email and not paying attention to it, or being a little bit overwhelmed by a lot of other things that are going on and clicking on things that we should not have clicked on. There's just way too much noise. That's one. Two, there are way too many disconnected products. The security is huge. The vendors and OEMs and ISVs out there are a dime a dozen. This is not to beat up on any of them. This is to actually talk about how we could bring this all together to make it meaningful, to make all of this noise meaningful, right? How do we take all of these products that we have, whether they are security products or whether they are endpoint products or whether they're data collection products, all of that data and put it in a central location, right? The attackers have become sophisticated. These guys are getting good. They're getting good fast. They're getting smarter by the day. And we were always in this perpetual state of trying to catch up to them, right? Because they're keeping an eye on what we're doing as security professionals and trying to come up with plan B, right, for our way of defending. Um, and then obviously the skills, security skills are getting shorter, right? You can't just hire security people to protect you all day long. You need to be able to find products that will do that for you. And and you need to be able to automate. Automation is the answer to resource shortage, right? And we are in a world today where we have to be able to automate thoughtfully and significantly to be able to address all of these issues. So let's talk about cloud native. Let's talk about Sentinel a little bit, right? So cloud native SIM and SOAR are for intelligence security analytics. Um, why is Sentinel such a beautiful product? One, cloud speed and scale. You are collecting data at an exponential amount. You need to be able to scale and you need that speed of catching up and grabbing that data. Sentinel is that cloud platform that will, or lives on the cloud platform that will allow you to do that. Other thing is, we know the majority of enterprises today live in Office 365 and are generating a lot of data and a lot of churn in Office 365. With Sentinel, you could bring that data for free, right? It's within the Microsoft ecosystem. That's definitely a huge plus. Third, you could integrate it with a lot of your existing tools. The integration is really top of mind for the Microsoft team to be able to get all of the other third-party products and all of that other noise that's coming in and get it integrated into Sentinel to be able to act upon it, automate against it, and act, and create actionable things and alerts and all kinds of other things that Eli will talk about here in a little bit. And finally, one of the things that I'm sure everybody's heard time and again, it's been the biggest topic, is Microsoft is actually integrating Copilot AI into Sentinel for more intelligent, faster protection. And finally, the beauty of this is that there's no infrastructure cost to you, right? It's a cloud product. You're not standing anything up. You're allowing Microsoft to handle all of that for you. You pay for what you use, and I believe Eli, or if not, later on we will talk about certain programs, or we will share after this webinar certain programs that Microsoft are coming up with to make this a little more realistic as far as expenditure is concerned. So you're paying for what you use. And finally, as we mentioned earlier, your Office 365 data is free. And if you generate a lot of data there, that's definitely realizing quite a bit of savings because you're getting it in there, analyzed, detected, Copilot acting upon it at no cost for you. For here, I'm going to hand it over to Eli to start diving into the details of Sentinel a little bit. Eli, floor is yours.
Thank you, Joe. Let me share my screen very quick. Are you able to see my slides or not yet?
Yes, I see an airlift slide.
Okay, let me.
Would you like me to share those? I could definitely share the slides if you want, Lee. I have them.
One second. I think I have it now. Okay, so I'm good. You're now seeing my screen, right?
Yep, we see the slide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's now deep dive into Sentinel and the integration between Sentinel and the Microsoft Security Suite. So Sentinel integrate with most of the security suite that is available right now. So from endpoint, when using Defender for Endpoint, which is the EDR solution in Microsoft XDR, to identity through Defender for Identity that protect your identity, whether you are on premises or in cloud. And in addition to the intra-ID identity protection, which protects you from risky sign-ins. And also when it comes to email and collaboration security through Defender for Office 365 and Defender for Cloud Apps to protect your SaaS application, to Azure and the protection of Azure resources using Defender for Cloud. So all those products provide like a high quality of alerts and a unified investigation workflows and an end-to-end remediation. And coming with Sentinel on top of them, which will allow Sentinel to act as a central nervous system of your security operations. So, and here, let's also look onto the Microsoft Sentinel core capabilities. So Sentinel at the high level offer like a rich set of capabilities through first collecting data, whether from the Microsoft Security Suite or any other third-party solutions such as CrowdStrike, Fortinet, Cisco, and so on. And once you collect that data, you can build on top of them some analytic rules and fusion anomalies. And once building those analytic rules, you can trigger alerts and incidents. And once you trigger alerts and incidents, you can build on top of them automation rule and playbooks to automated remediation. So it covers all the investigation and cover all the triage that you go through it by looking into the incidents, checking the affected entities. You can enrich your incident by the threat intelligence indicator that is available, and that will help you to surface your critical threats and streamline your response. So we mentioned Defender for Endpoint, we mentioned Defender for Identity, we mentioned all the Microsoft Suite, and also we mentioned Sentinel. And that's come to what we call a unified experience and visibility and centralized visibility experience across your identity, your endpoints, your cloud, your network, and any log data you're ingesting into Sentinel. And that will give you and eliminates and help you to eliminate the blind spots and enable for a faster threat detection. And also, you know, when you are ingesting all the data from any type of an identity or endpoints, um, so the alerts are generated based on a correlated signal. So Sentinel correlate all the signals that are related to each other in order to reduce the noise, in order to reduce the false positive of your alerts, and it will help the SOC analyst to focus on what really matter, on what really I should look into to prevent any risk and remediate and be proactive all the time. So I will talk here and I will deep dive. Already Joe mentioned that you can ingest data from all the Microsoft solution, but also Sentinel support ingesting standard log formats and also integrate with all the Microsoft Security Suite, including also Purview. So for example, if you are using data loss prevention solution or inside risk management solution, you can ingest this data into Sentinel, build some analytic rule, use hunting queries, and go into deeper investigation when it comes to data compliance. Moreover, Sentinel give you the capability to ingest over 10 petabytes of daily ingestion capacity per day. And in that way, you can ensure that you are ingesting all the data that you need to detect and respond to the active threat that you have in your environment. Um, when it comes to optimization, you know, some companies like to use their own tools or their own threat intelligence third-party solution, let's say. So Sentinel won't keep you locked and limited to what is available as built-in feature into Microsoft Sentinel, but it allows you to bring your own machine learning model if you are building in-house some learning machine models or threat intelligence model, you can bring them into Microsoft Sentinel and just use LM models or threat intelligence indicator into Sentinel. And moreover, Microsoft had built a security community on GitHub that is dedicated for Sentinel, where you can share and build detection and best practices. So that's the beauty of Sentinel. You can share, you can bring your own solution to Sentinel and build on top of it and be proactive all the time. Also, not only building or bringing your own solution, but also Sentinel gives you the capability of using and leveraging AI in many ways. So one of them, it allows you to filter a million of signals into a few prioritized incidents, and that's by using a pre-built machine learning models, and it will help you to reduce your error fatigue by up to 90%, and which actually what we need today, because you cannot check hundreds of incidents per day on daily basis, let's say. So you need something that helps you in triaging all those incidents and define what is your priority to focus on. And also you can bring, as I mentioned before, you can bring your own learning machine model and integrate them with Sentinel, and that will help you to do an enhancement when you are, for example, doing a user behavior analysis, checking for any abnormal activity in your environment through AI or through the Microsoft Threat Intelligence by ingesting all those indicators into Sentinel. Let's take an example here. Since we mentioned that integration between Microsoft Sentinel, XDR, and threat intelligence and the AI, but also we forgot to mention that now Sentinel, with the integration with Microsoft XDR and Security Copilot, all these products now are combined into a unified portal, right? Where you can, for example, if you have an incident triggered from Sentinel, you can see it now in the XDR portal, and at the same time you can use Security Copilot one for doing an incident summary. As you see here, for example, it's an example of a SAP solution using an organization, and you are assuming that your SAP solution instance on the cloud is connected to Sentinel. So you are ingesting all your data from SAP to Sentinel, and you have everything in place from analytic rules and hunting queries to investigate any incident. And suddenly, one of the attackers tried to download a file from your SAP solution using a malicious IP address. An incident automatically get triggered. You see it in your XDR portal. You use Copilot, if you can see it here on the right, to check the incident summary. And more also, Security Copilot provide you with the guided response of 4 categories, which help you to do the triage in that case. By doing the triage, Copilot will automatically classify the incident for you, whether it is informational, true positive or false positive. Will provide you also with investigation details, suggesting deeper analysis for affected identities, for example, and also will provide you the remediation steps that you should take by disabling accounts, removing malware containing any device, and so on. So full experience in one view. Also, when it comes to automation, and if you are using Sentinel and you're installing solution, some solution comes with playbooks, predefined playbooks, where you can build automation. So let's take, for example, you are ingesting all your Office 365 data and Defender for Office 365 data into Sentinel, and you build an analytic rule that monitor any phishing attempt in your environment. And suddenly a phishing attempt is happened in your environment, and you want to remediate that automatically with a zero touch from your SOC analyst. So in that case, you have some predefined Azure Log apps that you can implement and build them on top of that incident, saying when you have an incident of phishing email threats in your environment, please go and force a user to reset the password or disable that user or contain his device and so on. So it's a full automated solution using scalable playbooks that can be integrated, and not only integrated to remediate, but also it can be integrated to your ticketing system. For example, you can open a ticket through, for example, ServiceNow when you have an incident in Sentinel. The last slide here, I would like just to mention some latest news that has been announced by the Microsoft security team. One of them is the introduction of Microsoft Sentinel Data Lake, which is a modern data lake model for data management and allow you to reduce cost. Basically, that's built for the organizations that are leveraging Sentinel, but are ingesting a huge number of data, and they want to have like a balance between high volume of data and the cost at the same time. Sentinel Data Lake gives you a retention period up to 12 years. If you want to take a case, for example, and investigate any data from 12 years back, you can do that when you implement Sentinel Data Lake. And finally, starting July 2026, Microsoft Sentinel and Azure Portal will not be supported through Azure Portal will not be supported anymore, but it will be supported only in Defender Portal. That's it. So just a small recap here. So Sentinel offers you 5 to 4 capabilities, which is centralized visibility, intelligent detection, automated response, and seamless integration with your third-party tools or the Microsoft Suite security stack. And it's really a comprehensive modern security solution for your SOC team. Thank you for your time and attention. And now we are happy to take the Q&A from Andreas and the audience. Thank you.
Is my screen loading or yeah?
I see it.
Please use the Q&A feature in your toolbar. We will be answering the questions fully. I would like to also give you the opportunity to grab the link from the PowerPoint here to register for our upcoming webinar in September. Our first question, how does Microsoft Sentinel integrate with third-party security tools and platforms?
Yeah, thank you, Andrea, for your question. So Microsoft Sentinel initially is designed to be highly extensible, right? So it supports a lot of integration, a wide range of integration of third-party security platform. So for example, if you are using CrowdStrike as your EDR solution in your environment, you can ingest all the data from CrowdStrike to Sentinel. And each integration with Microsoft Sentinel is in form of package solutions that include the data connector and also include workbooks, dashboards, analytic rule, hunting query, and even predefined automation playbooks. And moreover, you can ingest, as I mentioned before, if you are using a threat intelligence third-party solution other than Microsoft, you can upload those data through APIs by ingesting them to Sentinel.
Awesome. What are the cost implications of using Microsoft Sentinel for small to medium-sized enterprises?
Yeah, so Microsoft offer a flexible pricing model, right? So you have two pricing model when using Sentinel. You can go with pay as you go, which means you pay for what you are using, one, or you can go with the commitment tiers. Like if you are able to predict the volume of data that you're ingesting. So for example, I know that I'm ingesting 100 gig per day, so I will pay for them X amount of money. Then you can use that commitment tier. But some cost optimization tips here to take into consideration, which is ingest only what is essential for you to do your triage and investigation. Don't ingest all the logs, or you find out at the end of the day that you're paying money for some logs that are unused, right? And build always a retention strategy. How many retention period you want to keep your logs for the future? Thank you.
How can Microsoft Sentinel leverage machine learning models to enhance threat detection and response?
Yeah, so Microsoft by default, and it's a built-in feature whenever you start using Microsoft Sentinel, use machine learnings to enhance your security operation. So Sentinel, when he wants to catch any anomaly detection, he used the MLs, he used the machine learning. When he wants to do a user and entity behavior analytics, and it's a feature in Sentinel called UABA, it uses ML. When you build an automation using playbooks, you can use ML. And even if you have your own or your in-house learning model, you can bring them to Sentinel through using the notebook, and from there you are able to use your own learning machine in Sentinel to do a deep dive investigation into your environment. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ali. I don't believe we have any more questions. Uh, this is officially our wrap-up of our security chapter. We're getting ready to discuss the end of support of SharePoint Server, so stay on the lookout for our post-webinar email for additional information. Have a good day, everybody, and thank you for joining.